Well, welcome back to episode 3 of Crumpet TV. I'm your host, Angus McGregor, coming to you live from Scotland. Last week, if you remember, I talked about not only eating crumpets, but also preserving them. Very important. I talked about this wonderful stuff, aged crumpet gloss. I don't know if you can see that. Anyways, this week I'm going to talk about the rich, fascinating history of crumpets. That's right, because crumpets go back way, way back in history. And how would I know that? You think I'm just a Scotsman who's proud to be Scottish and loves Glenlivet? No, actually crumpets go back way, way back in me family, because me family is the family that invented the crumpet. That's right. In fact, I didn't tell you this last week, but my middle initial is C. And what do you think C stands for? That's right, Crumpets. You're so smart. Anyway, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the rich history of crumpets. And it's going to start with this lithograph that's been in my family since the 16th century, from Shakespeare's time. You see this? This is the Globe Theatre down in London. And these people are all waiting for a play to begin. And what do you think that they're doing when they're waiting for the play? That's right, they're all eating crumpets. And in fact, they're getting into fights about crumpets. That's right, because people throughout history have not only gotten into wars about ideas, but about food, about things they eat. Oh, some of my friends think that's a bunch of half-baked haggis. But I'm here to tell you that if you look back at human history, you'll see that there are plenty of wars that all were started by things that people eat or they consume. In fact, I can prove it. I've got this researcher down in London. Actually, she's north of London. Her name is Carol Watson, and she's connected with Oxford University, one of the best in the world. And she put together this little research list for me that I'm going to share with you now. So, we have the food wars, right? And let's start with the most recent, Afghanistan. What a bloody mess we're involved in over there. What's all that about anyway? Well, it comes down to one word. If you look at the historical research on it, the war is really about poppies. That's right. And not the baking kind. No, it's not the stuff you put in your muffins or in your breads. It's the stuff they smoke. Oh, horrible stuff. I'd never do it. Don't try it. Anyway, we'll go back to Iran and Iraq, the Gulf War, and that's all about. It comes down to oil. That's right. And not the cooking kind or the gook that all those Italian and those Spanish people put in their hair, the disgusting stuff. No, it's about oil. And Napoleon, you go even farther back. What was Napoleon about? Well, Napoleon was about London gets creme brulee. That's right, because before Napoleon, you know, the English were eating sticks and stones and horrible stuff, all this rubbish from the medieval times because they had no civilization. And that's right, the French under Napoleon gave them some civilization when it came to culinary arts, right, as they say in Oxford. America, here's another example of food. What was it about? American Revolution. If you ask anybody from Boston, they'll know. It was about tea. Tea and crumpets, mind you. They had crumpets in America in the colonial times, yeah. For Sir Francis Drake down in the Caribbean, even before America, or during America, what was he all about? He was about rum and sugar. That's right. Oh, the wonderful stuff. That's how we got Glenlivet now. It was about rum and sugar, and also, of course, the lassies. Finally, this is the one I've been waiting to tell you about. The Battle of Hastings in 1066. What was that all about? Well, anybody who studied British history knows the Battle of Hastings was about the Normans, the French, invading and actually winning and taking over the British Isles. But the real name is in the history books. That's not the real name. The real name, I would know because it's part of my own family history. And again, Carol Watson has undid the research out of the archives of Oxford and found this. The real name was the Battle of the Hasty Crumpet. And let me tell you a little bit about that. And I'm going to actually show you some proof here. You know, before we had this wonderful stuff, the aged crumpet gloss. Before that was invented around the time of Napoleon, what happened to crumpets? They weren't like this. No, they actually shriveled up, that's right, into little nuts. Let me show you. This has been in my family now for a long time. These are the old nuts, as we call them. The bigger the nut, the more recent they are. The smaller the nut, the older they are. So look at this one. See this wee little one here? This one, yeah, this is the one from the Battle of the Hasty Crumpet. And let me tell you the story. the French came over from France, to educate the English about how to eat better. The French know all about sauces and about puddings and about wine, And they came over to Hastings, and they visited my great-grandfather's shop. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. My great-grandfather, the 26th, was sent down from Scotland because we were doing so well up there. We thought the English could benefit from our crumpets. That's how it started. And he had a shop anyway near Hastings. And the story goes that the French knight came in for the crumpet because they loved the crumpet, because they didn't have crumpets at that time over in France. And he came in at the end of the day and wanted the last crumpet. This one here, right? And the English lord came in about the same time to the shop, and he wanted the same crumpet. And the Frenchman got all puffy about it was his crumpet, and the Englishman said, no, it's my crumpet. Well, at the end of the day, it wasn't about the crumpet. It was about being French or being English. And they got into a big fight anyway, and it led to the war and a whole bunch of rubbish, and a lot of people dying for no good reason, except in the end the French won. And that's why in England now there's things like Yorkshire pudding and tarts and wonderful desserts. It's all, that guy Oliver down in London, who's a big success on TV, he has the French to thank for that. So anyways, it all started over a crumpet. Next week, I'm going to talk to you about the history of crumpets to go back even farther. That's right, to the times of the Bible. There's a whole list. I'll give you a little taste. Signs from the Bible, crumpets throughout history. Well, I'll go all the way back to the origin of mankind and how crumpets are tied in with that. For the moment, this is Angus McGregor coming to you live from Scotland for Crumpet TV. I'll speak to you soon. I gotta have my Glenlivet now. Bye now.